right, Black Box Radio. We're in the RONAreport. We have DChase. Say hi to the people, bro.
Peace, people. How you doing?
Listen, tell the folk. Well, if you're from Baltimore, you know about DChase, but tell the folks what you do in the community, bro.
At the end of the day, some people are born to be rich. Some people are born to be educators. I'm born to be a transformation agent, and our secret sauce is just to find the genius in other people, and then connect genius with genius. Systems, form structures, and then attack problems from a collective standpoint, and that's throughout the entire 9 areas of people activity, from health to wealth and everything in between. So we like to call ourselves community activists, but more importantly, we're transformation agents, and that takes different forms because if you're serious about transforming anything like a great game of chess, you have to know how to maneuver. So we make a lot of different maneuvers, some traditional, some untraditional, but all with the same goal in mind, which is to raise the vibration and the conscious level of the community, and then organize us around our talents to build systems so that we can become productive in a lot of facets, in particular economically, socially, just loving ourselves as a community.
So that's transformation agent. Like that. Now, you said an activist, but a transformation agent. Okay.
Yeah. Activist is kind of like everybody. If you're an activist, you can come and go. Active today and not active tomorrow. But when you're a transformation agent, it goes beyond an activity. It goes into the fiber of who you are and why you're actually on the planet. So I like to believe that that's the space I operate out of, divine transformation.
Wow. So let me ask a question about that because that's a lot. You said what you said was amazing, but how does that play out in the community per se when it comes to and I'm sure this is with the African American community. How does that play out in our community? The transformation agency that you are bringing to the table.
Okay, so the first thing that people need when they plan to change anything is they need space. They need a place to actually come together. So we have what we call the Stand Up Baltimore Center / the Garage, which is a 7,000 square foot facility that sits in Station North, where varying community organizations can come in. They can meet. They can utilize the space. They can create productions. We make it extremely accessible to them. In some cases, we work within the budget that they have. And then the other part of transformation is celebrating victories. So that same space acts as a space to celebrate the victories, both large and small, that we have. Last and foremost, it's the brain center for Stand Up Baltimore. So we have over 200 community partners. So we utilize that space to bring varying partners together on a regular basis. In particular, every Wednesday before we had this outbreak, of course, from 6 to 8:30, we're there organizing in both small and large circles, where we take again the genius of individuals' minds, bring them into small and large groups, and then we organize around specific causes. I'll give an example. In May of last year, Memorial Day weekend, you had 10 young people that were arrested at the Inner Harbor. So at that moment, we sprung into action, and what we recognized is that the children were just being children. And the truth of the matter is that there was no structured activity that welcomed them to the harbor. So we built a coalition of about 45 different organizations. We created something that was called Be More Live. It's called Be More Live 19, where we actually structured activities for all major events that happened down the harbor. So we worked in partnership with the city, the police department, community organizations, grassroots organizations, created a strategy where anywhere that young people were down there near the harbor downtown. There was somebody to greet them. We had a campaign that was called Just Chill. So we gave away tons and tons of ice cream. But more importantly than giving the ice cream, we gave them a warm hand, a warm heart, and a message of just chill. We here for you. Don't wild out. All right. We did a silent party. We had ice cream carts all around the area and a lot of other things. But that's just an example, a small example of us leading an effort to bring community organizations together to tackle a cause. But we've done that in a lot of different facets. That's just one.
I like that. Where you see a problem, you find partners and solutions, and
Yep.
yeah, and it's culturally sensitive, so because you understand the actual thing that you're having this having your event around. So that's amazing.
Right, right. And then I'll give you a Corona example. So the Corona example is you have a ton of people who they're number one, they're scared, they're nervous, um,
Mhm.
they don't know how to maneuver through this, and their primary concern is safety and germs. So what we were able to do is to bring form a partnership with a company that's based in the DC area called Mr. BioClean. We partnered with them on a corporate level, and we're able to bring Mr. BioClean right to Baltimore, where we're cleaning up spaces that may have been affected by the coronavirus, and at the same time going in and spraying spaces down to ensure that if they are infected, that they're no longer infected based upon the chemicals that we coat the buildings and the area with.
That's excellent.
The way that we move, we have the capacity to, it's kind of like Voltron. We have the capacity to formulate what we need to form.
Okay.
So I know this is a collective effort that you're speaking of. What are some of the ways that you're staying connected with the key people in the organization and in your network to address situations? Since you don't, like, this is Wednesday, so you would normally be meeting
Yeah, we
on a
actually
night like
have a
tonight.
meeting at 6 o'clock. So we do a conference call at 6 o'clock on Wednesdays. um, with an agenda. Still working on, our master plan as well as, problem solving and making sure everybody's safe. One of the things that we talked about today was just, once you get past that 30 mark, 35 mark, it's easy to gain weight, hard to knock it off. And when you're in these spaces where you can't move, your activity is limited, your routine is changed, what we have a tendency to do is we have a tendency to pile on weight. And when we pile on weight, of course, that has a negative effect. We understand that there's a correlation between diabetes and weight. We know there's a correlation between high blood pressure and weight. So when we look at the COVID-19 or the coronavirus, we know that our community is we're losing our lives at a faster rate than other people around the corner. I mean, around the corner from us,
Mhm.
because a lot of it is in the fact that we are not healthy. We're overweight, and the fact that our weight is out of control, it forces us into other conditions of our health. So as a community, as a group, we're putting things in place, sending out information to make sure that people, have an exercise program, make sure that they're walking, making sure that they're eating right, making sure that they're mentally healthy, making sure that we have small groups. We did a party, an online party with 150 people online just to make sure that people are having the opportunity to have the proper outlet. So we talk about mental, physical, and emotional health. Making sure that we have an accountability partner. So we have accountability partners within the group to make sure that we're getting our mental exercise, make sure that we're reading, making sure that we are going about still pushing the business of community. So that's how we're kind of staying healthy from an organizational perspective. But I have two young kids. My wife is a first responder. So my wife is normally gone 10 hours a day. She's gone now. fighting this on the front lines. So I'm here with the children who are out of school, cooking 3 meals a day, doing schoolwork, planning activities, training them, and everything that comes around that. We also built an organization that's called the International League of Families. So for the last 5 years, we created a model of how families can network themselves back to mental, emotional, financial health. So, we continue to have we have a tradition that's called Sunday dinners. So for the last 5 years, every Sunday, we're at one another's houses. There are 13 families in the group. And with us being under the condition of social distancing, we have to do that virtually. So we are able to network the children. They have their conversations in their meetings, and then we network the adults. So those are just some examples of some of the things that we do to stay mentally, emotionally, and emotionally healthy.
Really? That's amazing. It's real creative to still be able to connect the children.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And not only that, because not to cut you off, Queen. Financially, if you go to the garage, let's say if there was a food shortage, well, the collective 13 families have put their money together, and we have enough food to feed 13 families for 90 to 100 to 120 days at the garage right now.
That's what's up.
So we just like to be forward thinking. We pray for the best, but we prepare for the worst.
I love it. I mean, I'm gonna need some introduction to the box. Gonna have to be one of them families. I mean,
We got you.
so we have to be forward thinking. We have to think innovative because we're always waiting for someone else to save us.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and you can't do that, waiting for people to. If the store's not open, we're gonna starve. So we got to find a way. If we're not farming, then we got to definitely have bring things together and support each other. And that's amazing what you guys are doing. Amazing.
Yeah, and now, Queen, what we're planning to do is to extend what we were able to do as 13 families to the communities. So we have a plan where we're going to be dividing the city into 9 segments along the lines of the police district. Not that our focus is on policing, but those districts have already been created, and then we're bringing organizations together in those 9 districts to act as think tanks to make sure and ensure, regardless of what happens, that there's a plan in place, a larger community plan in place. And some of those things that we're doing on an individual family level will be reflected in what we are strategizing and helping the community to do.
Mm. So one sidebar question I have to ask: how'd you come up with 13 families? It sounds so Italiano. What is 13 families? You just
Uh, hey,
how did
so
that?
the way that this works is that we built a model.
Okay.
So the model is, for example, coming out of the communities that we come out of, we can't take for granted. We can no longer take for granted that our actual families that we actually sprung from are healthy families.
Mm,
All right. So if there is a survivor, we look at it in the same manner that Noah had the ark. So
mhm.
how do we, number one, what is the qualifications that gives people an entryway to our inner circle? So we have a screening process.
Wow.
Once you get in the circle, you need to have a baseline of consciousness, a baseline of information. So we have a training module that families go through for 12 months so that everybody has a baseline understanding of how we conduct family.
Mm,
If there is a problem within the network, how do you resolve it without destroying the network? So we've created, internal measures where we are able to manage affairs or manage difficult affairs. If there's business that needs to happen, how do we come together and be collective in our business affairs? So we're governed by a constitution that we've created. There's a creed, there's a code, there is a methodology of how we deal with one another's children. So every imaginable thing that a culture that had a 5,000 or 10,000 or 20,000 year history takes for granted, we know that as a community we can't take those things for granted. And if we are to heal from the space that we found ourselves in after the Middle Passage, after the sojourn that we've had here in America. We know that we're going to have to carve culture out of what we have, and we know that we're a multifaceted group, so we know that it needs to reflect the different perspectives of what is a family. We know that it needs to reflect the different aspects of how people worship God. We know it needs to reflect the multitude of our approach to consciousness. So we were able to put together a universal formula, create these things in the form of a manual that we now can train other families to do what we've already mastered.
Wow. Love it.
We
Absolutely
working over
love
here.
it. Yeah. Oh, you working over there, bro. Listen,
Yeah.
we got to sit down and, it got to be 6 feet, but we got to sit in the same space.
Hey, no doubt. Look, man, I'll give
So,
you five. I'll
listen,
give you 5.5. I only need 6 feet. Come on, I get
with
five
that
and a half
mask
with
game,
math.
real talk with that mask game.
The
I
math
love
game is real heavy over here.
It's real heavy over here, bro. Real heavy. Listen, let me ask you, because you're so conscious, we're very clear, and I'm clear. So, what is your headspace though? Because consciousness is a place you want to be, but reality is we're in a very significant time in history. How are you unpacking this where we are?
Again, like it's two sides of a coin. So you have the side where everything is scrambled, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when all the signals are scrambled, nobody is getting clear messaging, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, when all of the signals are scrambled, you now have to become dependent upon a different level of messaging. So you have to go into the inner space and you have to begin to receive messages that the fact that you were busy for the last whatever amount of years didn't allow you to tap into. So
Mm.
I'm in that space. My life is a meditation.
Wow.
So I've always studied time. I've been studying infectious diseases. And as a matter of fact, my wife said to me this morning, she says, who in their right mind gets up 5:30 in the morning to study the coronavirus? Well, I do, because I like to be informed. And I like to be informed so that I can be prepared. So you're prepared for the physical, all right. But most importantly, you have to be a step ahead of preparing for the world, not that's coming, but the world that you're going to call into existence. So from my standpoint, I operate from a space of power. I'm less concerned about the world that they're trying to hand me and more concerned about the world that I'm trying to create.
Brother DChase, listen, I don't know if our mics are ready for all of that, D. You bringing it. Wow. Okay. Okay. So listen, we're at the I hate to even end this interview. Real talk. We could do this for a minute. But this is the Rona Report. And listen, you gotta come in studio. When we go back in, you gotta sit on the other side. We gotta have that hour-long build session. You know what I mean?
All day.
All day. But right now we're in the Rona Report, so we're gonna stick there. And we're at the last will and testament where you leave something with the people, inspiration, talent, whatever you got. Leave a jewel. Give it to the people.
People paint pictures on faces instead of canvases. Architecting, engineering a perfect cradle of smirk, hoping that there's just enough ammunition to win friends and influence people all over the planet to see we take ourselves for granted. So when Sarah smiles, she bats her eyes and she struts her stuffed breasts of silicon, a sure sign of a mind going, gone to the next highest bidder, a heroin dipper, a cocaine sniffer, a lily white son of a doctor, and although his daddy got $150 million, he still needs an upper to take him up and away from the reality that's stating that his insecurities have been beating him down. So he needs a downer for the time he can't sleep because his inferiority complex makes him feel weak in the face of adversity. So he avoids opposition at any cost, even if it means that on the daily his masculinity has to get lost as a measure to maneuver through life's daily confusions. And sad to say, I know women, beautiful, intellectual, yet using the size and shapes of their asses to attract the masses of men who just play games with them. Games of Monopoly they play, They say who could move through the community without eventually landing on somebody's property, having to pay rent by exposing their psychology, sociological patterns, luggage, and bad habits. In fact, everybody wants to be a star, so we deny who we are. In a vain attempt to free ourselves, we become something else. So he said, she said, and she said he was big, fat, overweight, and unhappy. So he was incapable of capturing glimpses of his wonderment because he believes his stomach hides the instrument that gives him value, and it's awful. Because I know 98-pound white women dieting, they're dying because they figure that their figures don't fit the cosmopolitan model, and their parents thinking that their baby's girl's world is going to end tomorrow if she can't borrow some means, some method, some plan, a way of just losing weight because she believes in order to be a television hero, one must be a size zero tolerance for nonsense. So when his ego went jumping out the window, better bet it took her only life. On the TV tube, the 6 o'clock news, like Seinfeld, we watched the last episode of her life, sent to an early death for a lack of ability to recognize that maybe she should have left him a long time ago, maybe after her first trip or even her 5th trip to the hospital. And I guess that's the way love goes. And surely she must have saw that bull on the stories. Too fat, too skinny, too small, too tall, too small, too tall. So I would look a whole lot better if I developed my muscles exploding with steroids. A pill at night, a shot during the day, anything to hide the void he feels since his childhood thrills were stolen away, emasculated as he played around with the older kids on the playground. So childhood pains don't go away. They just come back another day. So that's how I am. That's how I'm feeling. I leave you with that, Jewel. That's called Sensecurities. That was on my first album.
It's called what?
Sensecurities. 20 years ago, I dropped that album.
When I tell you,
I wrote
brother,
that 20 years ago.
you spoke the word from a conscious black man. Amazing.
And you're unbalanced. You know, man. Consciousness is, most people misunderstand consciousness with being perfect. Like, I don't misconstrue that. Consciousness for me is about being present. It's about being aware, your inner space and your outer space. It's about being responsible for your inner space and outer space. It's about coaching other people into responsibility in the inner and outer space, and at the same time having a good damn time. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't overwhelm you. It doesn't feel like weight. So the consciousness that we're trying to help to manifest on the planet is where everybody has the opportunity to work in their divine gifts. So as I feel as though that I was called for a thing, I believe if people had the methodology or the way, that they could find genius in the thing that they were called into existence for also. And then we create an economy based upon what we've been called into in existence for, rather than what people have been called into existence to get us to do.
DChase, we appreciate you.
Queen, I appreciate you.
Awesome.
Hey, what's up, baby? You good?
Oh yeah, we're absolutely good. I want to say also thank you so much for, I was just listening and absorbing all the things that you have been doing in the community, all the ways that you've been bringing people together and installing a culture in a space that is desperately needing it. So I appreciate you spending some time with us and being patient through the challenges of making this happen. I know, it's like that sometimes, but I'm glad that you hung in there and we figured it out.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, thank you, bro. It was more you hanging in there with me. Thank you.
All right. Absolutely. That's what I'm here for. If you're listening right now, if you're listening to this conversation and you enjoyed what you heard, then you can visit blackboxradio.com to hear all the voices that we've done in the Corona Report or the Rona Report. I've been trying to make it official all day, but it's the Rona Report, as well as all the interviews that we've done going all the way back to 9/19/19. And you can find that at BLAKBOXXRADIO. You can also find Black Box Radio on Facebook and Instagram at Black Box Radio. Find us on Twitter at Box Black. That's BOXXBLAK. And if you are hearing this conversation, that means you have found us, and not everyone is able to find us. So please share this interview with people in your network. Send it out to people in email. Put it on your social media and help us spread the word about the Rona Report so that the community can hear this powerful information.
Yeah, we got to get the Rona Report out there, real talk, because, these platforms, when it comes to this virus, they're being very, I don't know. They're guarding the content, so they don't want to put anything out there. So it's like we're being suppressed. It's like our content is not going out. So we need the family to put it out there. Everybody, share the Rona Report. We definitely need to share it. So this is the Rona Report. It's 4/15/20. We had that conscious black man. I don't know if y'all ready. DChase, we appreciate you, bro. Real talk.
Appreciate you too, Queen.
This is Black Blocks Radio. We out. Peace.